Hello. Sitting out earthing while I wait for the time to go eat my dinner. Um, yeah, it's nice out here under the sun, and it's been a little cold and rainy for a few days, but the sun's out again, and it's nice. And the trees are blooming. Look at this. Look at those beautiful blossoms on the tree. Nice, huh? Pretty. Anyway, I wanted to, I don't know, I don't really have anything in mind. I just wanted to come out here and earth and take in a little sunlight as well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to listen to see if there's a message that will come through, and if there's something that I need to share, or something that somebody needs to hear. Yeah, so I'm gonna sit here for a minute and just see. Fed my dogs dinner. 3 dogs. 2 of them ate right away. The other didn't want to eat right away, and I'm hoping when I go back in and put her dish down that she'll be ready to eat. Yeah, maybe the idea of timing being on our end, on our terms, loud, sorry. What I mean is, like, for some things we have a little bit of say in the timing of when certain things happen. Like, obviously my dogs, they can only eat when you make the food available to them, and we usually do it around the same time every day. When they get their dinner, it's usually around the same time every day, and so they get used to that. But every once in a while, one of the dogs is just not interested, not ready to eat yet, and so it's completely up to her whether she eats at that time, even though that's when it was presented to her. The food was made available at a certain time, which would be, like, like, we all have our routines, and we all sometimes go by the clock or the calendar, and how some things are just like that, and we have to kind of work around what's been accepted in our families or in our societies as this is when we do this, and this, you know, like you can't change what time you go to school unless you do homeschool, right? So kind of what I'm saying is, a lot of our lives are, a big portion of our days, especially if you do a lot in the world, you know, like if you do go to school or work or other events that do fall on a calendar and on a certain day and time, you know, when you do those things, you do have to kind of adhere to that schedule, right? But maybe there's a time in your life when you don't have to adhere to schedules anymore, and you can kind of call the shots whenever and however you want to do your schedule. And to me, that is freedom. That is freedom. I have always been averse to schedules and calendars and appointments and all of that. To me, that feels very restrictive, and I don't like to be on anybody's schedule. I like to come and go and do as I please whenever I want. And usually it's led by, you know, it's self-led, right? And I know that that's not been most of my life. I haven't had the luxury to do that, because you do have, you know, you growing up with other people, you know, like you do have to kind of go with the flow and do things at certain times. And yeah, but anyway, you know, back to my dog. She has the choice whether or not to eat the food when it's placed in front of her. She still has that choice, even though maybe it was on our calendars or on our time frame, our schedules, you know, say that we do this at 5 o'clock, you know, for dinner for the dogs. She does not have to eat it at that time. She can let it sit there. And often what we do is so the other dogs don't eat her food, because we put little toppings on it first to get them to eat. And then, you know, so she might want to wait a little bit. And so often that's what happens, is she'll wait, and then, you know, we have to put her bowl up where the other dogs can't get it, and then when she's ready to eat, we can put it back down. But it's definitely, she tends to be more of the self-led dog. When she's gonna do things when she wants to do them. And the other two dogs, they're actually younger, and they don't do it that way. They just kind of, they're more, I guess you'd say, regimented, and they do things. A lot of it is when they're told to do it or when it's made available. So, but thinking about that, thinking about how not everything can come on the schedule, on the time that we want it to. A lot of it is out of our hands, and we just have to wait patiently for the right time for things to happen. But there are some things that we do have control over our schedules, and we don't have to do it at specific times. And I don't think I'm sharing anything new. I think everybody knows this, you know. We all experience life, and some things, you know, we all experience delays in things, you know, that we hope would happen now, but it's not happening now. So you have to be patient, and you just wait, and you just trust that everything will happen at the right time. And And for the most part, that's what I've experienced in my life, is that, especially when we're talking about big things that are like, you would consider, you know, the universe has its divine timing, or God with the divine timing of things, where things need to happen at a certain moment in your life. And so like that kind of timing, we don't really have that much say in when those things happen. We just kind of have to trust that things that we're hoping for, praying for, wishing for, that are meant for us, you know, we just have to let those things happen within the right time frame, you know, like when you're making a recipe for something, there's things that usually a lot of times when you're cooking or baking, you have to have an order to how you put things in the bowl, or how you mix them, or whatever, you know, like you can't just dump it. Some recipes you can just dump everything, but like most of the time things have to be done in a certain order in order for something to turn out the way that you want it to turn out, or the way that the recipe is supposed to turn out. So you kind of have to, you just know that there's certain steps that have to happen first before you add the other ingredient. And yeah, so anyway, I think life is like that when we're dealing with divine timing, you know, because we're the only ones that are experiencing time, really, you know, because because everything is already happening all at the same time, but we're experiencing it in a linear way, right? And so because that's our experience, things tend to happen one at a time, you know, like and so maybe there's certain things that need to play out first before you see a certain blessing, or you know, something you've been waiting for, something that maybe you sense is coming, but maybe you just don't know when, and maybe you're just feeling a little anxious or impatient about, well, when am I going to get that? You know, like instead of just trusting that it'll happen at the right moment after the other things are lined up. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of that happening in my life right now. We're feeling somewhat in limbo in many areas of our family's lives, you know, like we're I think many of us are feeling that because we're in transition in so many different areas, you know, work, health, where we live, you know, so many things are changing. And maybe you're experiencing the same thing right now, but from my experience in life, things line up. Things, you know, things just fall into place, and the blessing comes just at the right moment that it needs to come. So I think that's really what my message is that if you're waiting on something to happen, just trust that it will happen at the right time, and try to absolve yourself from the doubts, from the anxiety, from the impatience of having to wait. And there's that old saying, all good things come to those who wait. There's some truth in that. Sometimes when we don't have to wait for something, and I'm a kid of the 80s, like where everything became instant this, instant that, with microwaves and just all the things that trained us to be more impatient and not be able to wait as long as maybe our parents and grandparents did. But I think we still have our lessons that teach us to wait, and it's good. It's helpful, because then you have time to really think and reflect, and when you do come to that receiving point of the wish or the blessing, or whatever it is that you're waiting on, when it comes to you, you have an appreciation that maybe you wouldn't have had if it had just fallen in your lap, without the trusting of divine timing, and without the willingness to wait and to just let things unfold naturally. So yeah, I think that's my message, and it's for me as well as for you, if you resonate with any of this. Yeah. Okay, well, hope you have a beautiful weekend, the rest of it anyway. Saturday right now, so there's maybe still a little bit more for some of us. All right, stop and smell the flowers, look at everything around you, look at the beauty, and enjoy whatever process you're in, because I think that's the key, is like, enjoy the process, even if that's you being in a holding pattern. What is it that you can look around? What is it that you can feel and experience and enjoy during the waiting time? So, all right, bye.